Hi there. My name is Chris Dre. I am from Manley Laboratories in Los Angeles, California, and I'm here visiting Sweetwater Sound in Indiana to do some sales trainings and to shoot some of these product videos for you guys so you can learn a little bit more about our stuff online. So, right now we're talking about the Manley Mastering Backbone. This is a unit that was born out of the idea that we have been building custom mastering consoles for mastering studios all over the world for the last 20 years. And over the last few years, we haven't really had the time or the resources to continue doing that because it's a huge investment in all of these things just to be able to custom design these $20, $30, $40, $50,000 consoles for people. So what we did was we decided to take a lot of the custom features that people wanted in these mastering consoles and consolidate them down into a production version of one of these consoles. Now this would be one of three parts of a full mastering console. You need your meter bridge so you can see your levels. You need your monitor controller so you can hear everything and control everything. And then you need an insert switcher, and that's where this comes in. So this is a mastering insert switcher. It allows you to connect up to 8 pieces of outboard gear through either Elco or DB25 connectors on the back. It's available either way, whichever way you want to order it. So you have your 8 pieces of outboard gear that are all connected in through here. And if you want to hear any particular one of them, you just select it like that. Now, when you select a piece of gear, say you've got a compressor on insert 2 and an EQ here, another EQ there, these are effectively daisy chained together. They are hardwired. So it's not like there's any circuitry in the middle. This box, when the gains are bypassed, is fully passive. Now, there are gains, with that said, that it becomes an active box, but it's very transparent, it's very clean. When you engage them, you have plus and minus 6 dB input left and right, and output left and right. It's in half dB steps using Gray Hill switches. They're very expensive. They never fail. They're balanced. It's a very expensive switch. As with all of our gear, which is, again, all hand-built here in the United States, quality is the #1 thing, and we don't want to skimp on any parts. So everything in this is an extremely, extremely high-quality part that will last for a very long time. And it's all mastering grade because that's what it's designed for these studios. So basically, to go across this thing very briefly, we've got 3 inputs on this side, which are left and right balanced. There's a left-right reverse, which swaps the 2 sides. There's your gains, as I said. And there's an absolute polarity switch, which flips the polarity of both channels. It's not one relative to the other, in phase, out of phase like that. What it is that you always want that kick drum or that downbeat of your music. You want the speaker cone moving towards you at all times when that hits. That's your maximum impact. You don't want it going away from you. You want it coming right at you, right in your face. And some mixes, accidentally the kick drum phase may have been swapped during the mixing process or something, and that button can save a lot of mixes pretty quickly, which is pretty cool. This box has a few more special things, which I'll briefly go into right now. Inserts 2 and 3 are special because there's this button right here, which is your sum difference button. What that does is, say you've got an EQ right here, regular stereo left-right EQ. As right now, you're sending it the left channel and the right channel. You hit that, and now you're sending it the mid and the side. So whatever left channel of your gear you're using on inserts 2 or 3 suddenly only processes your in-phase material, the stuff in the middle of your mix, whereas the right channel only processes the outside. So this allows you to independently EQ after a thing has been mixed. You can independently EQ the kick drum and the vocals, or the cymbals on the outside, or the guitars on the outside, so you can add brightness to your cymbals and width to your entire mix without changing that perfect vocal tone that you got earlier on in the mix. Also, on inserts 4 and 5, say you've got an EQ and a compressor there. You hit swap, and now your compressor is before your EQ. It switches the order of inserts 4 and 5, which is pretty useful sometimes. This button right here brings in this master fader. Now this fader has 3 modes. He's either a fader, as I said, full in or full out, like that. He's a mixer, where there's a mix input on the back of this unit, whereas you bring this in, you're mixing in that input in parallel, so you can do parallel processing. Extremely, extremely useful tool. You can read more about it. I don't have time to go into it right now because this is a short video, but you should call your Sweetwater sales engineer and they'll be able to fill you in. The third mode is a mix difference mode, where it pulls some of the out-of-phase signal from your input and injects it onto the output as you do this. It is a tricky thing to use because it increases the apparent width of your entire mix by feeding an out-of-phase signal into the opposite channel and raising that level. Makes your mix sound really wide. Also, if used too much, it can destroy your phase relationships between things. So instead of a vocal sounding like it's right here in front of you, now the vocal sounds like it's right here in front of you, and you don't have quite the same stereo point localization that you would have normally in a mix when you don't mess with the phase like that. But, as we like to say, we build guns, we do not pull triggers. So, use it sparingly. On some mixes, it's really, really effective, but, you know, be careful with it. You're a mastering engineer, you should know how to do these things. So that's the side with that. Everything's fully balanced, fully passive, except for when the gains are in, obviously. And this unit is an incredibly useful Swiss Army knife that allows you to use all of your other gear in more creative ways. This box does not inherently do anything by itself, but it gives you a new workflow. It lets you chain everything together and use it all to its full potential, and sometimes in very different ways than it was intended, especially with the mid-side processing and the swapping and things like that. So Manley Mastering Backbone, if you're starting a mastering studio, if you want to bring an aspect of mastering into your home studio and you don't have the money for a giant custom console, which most people don't these days, this is the way to go. So if you have more questions, contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. And yet again, I am Chris DeRay from Manley Laboratories, hand-built in the USA, built in Chino, not China, and thank you very much.